Hi beautifuls, welcome back. A very punchy intro. I'm YILDIZ from YILDIZ Readings. I'm a psychic medium. I cover the astrology and twin flame path. This week we're having a look at your energy surrounding romance for your zodiac sign. I do have the members zone that does coaching relating to twin flame path where we can speak candidly and privately if that's something you're interested in. But very separately, I do come to you regularly live for the twin flame updates. So with this video, we're going to tune into your romance zone. If you do want a private booking, the link is below. Love and light, guys. Grab a cuppa, relax, and let's get into your energy update for this week with the extension read after in the members zone. Virgo, we're here to do your reading. And I've got to pick the book up. Okay, I have selected your rune. For those of you that don't know, I'm a psychic medium. I coach. I deal with twin flame path and astrology. Now, I have pulled your romance energy, and I keep hearing there's two ways to skin a cat. And I mean, you have a circumstance in your romance house from the 8th to the 15th. That looks quite major. And I jumped through and I was like really perplexed by some of the things that were coming through for you. The crowning energy, the ruin, the crystals, and two possible outcomes. Now, there will be an extension read for this. And please do tell me how this resonates with you. You're going through a very interesting portal, and particularly it may be due to the fact that we're going to be having a full moon in your zodiac sign. It is at the critical degree point, and it can be a very personal transformation time for you during this month. So you'll be feeling it by the second week already. We are moving away from that energy of the, I had to think then, the Leo moon, and moving towards the Aquarius energy, and towards the end of the month, you know, really getting to a point where we're initiating things and it's within the first house placement. So you've kind of got three little jumps. Number one, we've got the heart chakra coming through, empath energy. It is the shadow sign of Aquarius. We then have the new moon in Aquarius on the 11th, which has beautiful aspects, and then moving forward. So I think you're getting a mix of both with the Aquarian moon and with the full moon in Virgo. Now, you're wanting to bring something to a head. Something in you personally is changing. And although this is the romance read, I feel it's almost like who you're going to be the week following is going to be very different. But I already feel you're embodying it. Now, the rune that you have for this week is such. And it relates to Raven. And I was like, heck. Okay, now you've got clear quartz in reverse. So you wanted clarity on something, and your crystals. And before I read from the book, I need to sum this up to help you see how, you know, it's really synchronistically messaged. Okay, so number one, you got third eye and you got crown chakra. So it's something you're seeing versus something that, you know, is a bit hidden, right? Maybe not having mindsets that are joint, which is okay. We can still have connections in the yin and yang. But again, not really knowing, and maybe dropping the attachment to certain things. Regardless, we're going to tune into it further. Clear quartz, lack of clarity. And it makes sense because the crown chakra is in reverse and the third eye's there, which is thought. You're meditating, you're thinking on it, you're trying to comprehend it. Your crowning energy is the death card. And this relates to Raven. So it's very Pluto in nature coming through, but there's a shift happening with you when it comes to the way you're showing up in love. And I'm not feeling, hey, it's over. I'm feeling there is a rebirth, and, you know, with the Pluto energy, it's always regeneration. Let's look at the structure. Let's look at this romance. What do we need to bring to a head? What isn't happening? And this romance read, because I do deal with spiritual energies of twin flames, and because I understand the element of manifestation, which I will be doing videos on, it's a very unique circumstance that, you know, it is like the laws of attraction, but it's different to what we're taught. So this connects to Earth, and it also connects to Raven. Okay, homeland, ancestry, property, returning to one's roots, and the hero's journey. Which, like I said, there's almost like a synchronistic transformation happening. You're returning to self. You're returning to that new version of who you are inside of this connection, and, you know, checking in whether it resonates with you. Own identity. It binds but does not restrict. Homeland, ancestry, property, family, home, inheritance, ancient spirit, scarred enclosure, universal truth. Now it is in the upright. In reverse, it's degeneration and ruthlessness. But I feel, if anything, you're very much coming back. You know, you're kind of summing everything up and understanding a lot more about yourself. And you have really great cards. Okay. This is you tapping into the spirituality of connections. This is you looking at maybe a psychic connection. But I feel, again, I'm feeling it's a very personal thing that you're going through. You do have the High Priestess in reverse. Now, yes, during Mercury retrograde, we can have people from the past come back. There can be old emotions that are dragged up. And this is, be it you're single or coupled, this is the energy that's coming through. So you do have the High Priestess. And it's a little bit like feeling that somehow in the midst of connections, maybe some of that was lost and some of that now is returning. And it's almost like you're quite perplexed by what that happened. Sometimes it's a bit like a psychic gift. We can become very 3D. We're in the, you know, the motion of life, and it's feeling we're very much in the thick of it. But there is an opportunity here for you to take a connection to the next level. And there is subjects to do with loved ones around you that is showing you this mirror. And a circumstance where you're feeling, you know, you want the commitment, you want the connection, you want the happy family, and you're having clarity of mind about what those things mean. You may be really, really regressing over these things, and I feel the whole top row is very much reflection. I don't feel this is a physical thing happening. I feel it's more you are reflecting upon these circumstances, and there's dust blowing everywhere, which is crazy. Okay, so you got the High Priestess. I'm seeing that you're tuning into the way you were in previous situations. I'm also seeing that you're really, really, you know, your hope and dream had been to have a very committed connection. You're looking at what that means. What, you know, because sometimes when we romanticize these things, we don't actually know what we're getting into. And it's not saying that it's not perfect. I'm not saying that by any means. It's saying our mindset is changing and a belief is transforming and it's renewing. I think some of you maybe have seen the good, the bad, the ugly, and you're culminating that. You're bringing it to a whole. But there is a circumstance here, and potentially there could be circumstances surrounding your own kin family. Some of you may actually want to take a connection to the next level. Some of you are thinking about the reality that, you know, that you really want that connectedness. You really want to be able to put an energy into a relationship and get something out of it. There also could be circumstances to co-creative energy. Now, you have the Empress here. Now, some of you may be looking at co-creative energy, birth, health, you know, wanting to be that, but also wanting the connection directly to feel conducive with the tribe around you and feel like it flows effectively, but also creating your own little niche family. And this, I do feel, if anything, something that could be really playing out can be on both sides of the fence. And because it is in the crowning position, I do think on both sides of the fence there are circumstances or belief systems to do with how relationships are run. And I'll show you why. You've got this, and having to have this strength. I'm hearing what came first, the chicken or the egg. And I think, again, it's like a shift around. I'm seeing this circumstance in your life. First, you're doing it very personal. Now, I do feel circumstances are played out on your side of the fence and their side of the fence, be it you together or not. And there is conditioning and almost compartmentalization, but not in a healthy way. And I don't mean that on your side of the fence, Virgo. I mean, maybe it has been projected towards you that you need to be X, Y, and Z, and maybe on this other person's side of the fence it's been very much the same. And I feel rebellious energy that, and not necessarily in an angry way, in potentially either on your side of the fence or external to you guys, There's been this ego as to how you're supposed to be, and maybe you owned it accidentally, but there appears to be a lot of confusion as to what to do with these circumstances, how to bring it all together. And I'm hearing how to make everyone happy. Some of you may have been really, trying to take your time, trying to try different things. But it's become a sacrifice, and you're more accepting of it, but you're standing back and you're looking at how you can view this. I do think both parties are doing this very quietly. Both parties feel they're having to sacrifice quite a bit. And it's very sad because, look, I don't see it as a negative outcome. I see it at the moment where you stand, you're disappointed. You're disappointed that those circumstances are happening. You're willing to make sacrifices, but you're wanting it to be reciprocal. You're wanting it to be both sides. Some of you feel a little bit disillusioned. When we do tend to have a full moon in our zodiac sign, it can be a very emotional time. But it is going to end. It's not a permanent thing. It's almost like a soul walking. It's like you're being reborn, so to speak. So it can feel quite emotional. But some old element of you that doesn't resonate with you any longer inside of your connections and with you personally, we change naturally. But at the same time, there's sort of this energy coming through that, there could be guilt relating to that. Gosh, I've changed, the storylines change, what my needs are have changed. And this can be towards your romantic interest, towards external energies, family, etc. For some of you, you may have got into a connection where you feel in the past that you never wanted to get married. For others of you, maybe that has shifted now and it's like, okay, is that politically correct? And it is, because we are changing daily. So whatever these sacrifices you're making, you're willing to do that within your tribe, okay, within your unit. Some of you may be feeling as though you're just having to be you, whatever that's going to look like. And that process isn't fun, I must say. It will be after the fact, and you'll know that all that hard work energy has been worth it. But during that process, there can be guilt and there can be self-loathing energy. I do feel this person is going through it themselves, but at the same time, both of you maybe in your own personal lives don't know such. But this is a very challenging time I'm seeing through this. You're seeing each kind of role, each road that you're wanting to go towards. You're having a lot of downloads. Some of you, this can also be healing in relation to, what your hopes and dreams were. Was there an ex? Was there a karmic? Were there interferences and third-party energies? And, where you stand in the mix and how life is to be moving forward. There can be this frequency where you kind of know what it is you want, but you're having to let go of something. This can be a wound. This can be a fixation on, not getting on that roller coaster and going on that ride and trusting the process. Because, sometimes we can be very analytical with the mind and wanting to know everything to assure safety, which is fine. But, I think you're coming to an end of this week really realizing the term it takes two to tango. I think you're getting to a point you're just going to trust that these circumstances on your side of the fence you'll deal with, and on the other side, they're really dealing with it. But I do think there's a situation with, health, with diet, with children. We have the Empress here. You've definitely got the 6th house. In the 7th house, we've got Pisces, which we've got that Neptunian energy coming through. And so it can be very dream state and it can be very psychic in nature within your connections. And that's something that's quite a large energy. You really are quite intuitive, to directly connected in an empath level. And that can sometimes deplete you. I think there's things that aren't being said that it's this knowingness, but you're second guessing yourself with a clear quartz. And with the third eye, it's like you know, but then you can be second guessing yourself. Like it's almost lost in translation, but again, it's crown chakra, but again, you're second guessing yourself. Okay, did I see this right? Have I heard this right? You're wanting to get to the bottom of a situation. These minced words, for those of you in communication, in the connection, even if you're tuning into it previously, or it could be a text message, however this is playing out, I feel you're trying to get to the bottom of something so that you can understand what to do. Now, there's two ways this can go this week. You know, if you're finding there's no resolve and you're finding you can't get to the bottom of something, and that's really with the Death card and the Raven, it's like there is going to be a transformation. You might have to let something go, whatever that be, but it could be a wound, it could be directly you're just letting go of the control. There's a renewal, however this is. Now, the two ways this can go. One, there can be victory and movement if you're having the courage to move forward. And I think even with your outcome card, you know, about it takes two to tango, joining, binding. This is the outcome. Now, the possible potential roads, you've got two cards. One is continuing on as it is. And that's how it kind of looks. The other is, you know, having the tools to be able to handle some of these things, having faith in yourself, but also allowing both parties to do that. I do feel some of you are holding people at bay while you're actually concentrating on this. You know, going into hermit mode, thinking about this, reflecting, maybe trying to avoid conflict and fights, trying to avoid drama. But you do have this in the bag, Virgo. Like with the Eight of Wands, you do have the tools to be able to achieve anything you put your head to. I do feel these circumstances are very, very important to you. And I think that's really what you're trying to articulate. It's like, you know, the value, that's what I'm hearing, the term the value. It's not necessarily, there's no wrong or right, and I think that's the hard part. But it's, you know, health related as well, healthy boundaries, putting the work in, having this communication, trying to understand everyone's viewpoint. I do think it's influencing and affecting love. But I also feel you're looking at what you're wanting inside of a relationship. I think in the past you may have felt that that was an impossibility, and maybe you've done a lot of work on yourself, and now you're looking at the reality that yes, you can have these things, and you know, not settling for anything short of what those desires are. And it's not a personal thing when those things don't come towards you. It's letting those people be them, and you really focusing on, you know, what your value is. And really, I'm going to pull a clarifier because I'm really feeling with that heart chakra activation. It was asking us to really focus on our value and that return to innocence. Yeah. You know, we are definitely, you know, when we know better, we do better. Okay, so not everyone has to agree with our value systems, our beliefs, and our viewpoints. But there's a healing here that hasn't been completed yet. And some of you, it may be that you just don't want to fix everyone, and that's perfectly fine. But I do feel in the midst, had you been doing that, you're actually looking at something within you that was lovingly needing attention, and now you're giving it to yourself because it had become a burden and it was affecting connections point blank zero. I don't feel you're willing to anymore. And I think with the divine consciousness, the guidance in reverse, it's like, I think it's almost like pulling that in and saying, look, I can't do X, Y, and Z. You know, I think I did that in a channeled message on YouTube the other day, and I was talking about the collective energy. And there's a image on it with a person sitting on a jetty looking out into the future. And it was the reality of something that I personally went through. And it was believing truly within connections that I could do everything for everyone. And I don't think we subconsciously really think about it at the time, but when we do have that aha epiphany, it's like, no, we can't. And that's okay. We don't have to be everything for everyone. We also have things inside ourselves that we can only fill that cup with at a very personal level. But there may have been a role you took on that made you feel that way. That everything needed to be fine, everything needed to be perfect, very controlled environment. And I really feel you're outgrowing that. I really feel with these, it's like viewpoints. And yeah, it can be ego, but when we say ego, it's from a pain body experience, it's from a viewpoint, it's from conditioning. And so this could have caused complications in connections. That's really what I'm saying. I feel your traditional values. Some of you, I do feel a connection going to the next level for those of you that are single. And I do feel this is going to go a very, very long time. And if anything, as much as some of us can be very disillusioned by 2021, I do really feel the resonance of very strong, solid, enduring relationships coming through. And this is really what's coming through for you, Virgo. I do see that you're pressing a reset button. I do see that if you need to tie up loose ends in a sense of speaking your piece, saying how you see things, you can even be hearing from these individuals from the past. And I do feel some of you can even be getting advice from various individuals in relation to a circumstance playing out connected to love. These sacrifices, you may have a circumstance that is either requiring you to make a major sacrifice inside of a connection, and it can feel like a little bit of a burden or a responsibility. One could say a responsibility. And this, I'm feeling this is more for those of you who are new, coming back into a connection. But for some of you, it's merely you're looking back on all your connections and looking at how that directly impacted your romantic life. Because with the Hangman, again, it feels okay, making a sacrifice, short-term sacrifice, long-term goal, I'm hearing. There's many areas in your life you're leveling up, but through that you're having a rebirth. And that can be scaring you at the moment. It can be making you feel that, will everything remain the same? And I'm saying no, but it doesn't mean that's going to be a bad thing. I do see this to be a very liberating thing. Please do trust the process. Now I'm going to move into the extension rate and tune into your romantic interests, how they're viewing it. Number one, I do see right here is at the moment you could be tuning into that and feeling quite fretful, but because you are changing, even if those circumstances are coming up and coming back, I do see you really in the driver's seat making these decisions, but there can be some nervous energy. There's going to be information that does come in quite quick and it can relate to this, and you're going to really intuitively know what to do. If you are going to make any sacrifices to make this work, and this person is also, I do feel it will be wagered. And what do I mean by that? What are they showing me? It'll be gauged. You're going to gauge what you are and aren't willing to do to make this work. And some of it can be a lot of missing information. So there does appear to be more conversations that are needed. And don't feel ashamed to ask questions. That's your personal power. Ask questions, talk those things through. Try to pause and not, when we take things personal inside of these things, the wound is already there. Sometimes it can be that person that put that wound there. But in the midst of it, we're arguing with the past. If we're trying to gain clarity and we're going to take that information with us to transform it, it's going to serve us. But if we're merely living in that wound energy and arguing over the wound energy, it does change, but, it just remains a cycle where we're going over old ground. We want to take something beneficial from that to turn it around. So each party can see, the wound, how to heal it, how to love each other for our individuality, and how to move that forward. I feel you've got this in the bag, Virgo. I really do. Please don't second guess yourself. You got a lot of the cards at the moment. You've got the 2 crown chakras in reverse. You've got the third eye. So you're thinking 9 times out of 10 before we take direct action, we do think it through. Perfectly adult, right? But if this has been months and months and months and months, you know, we need to resolve it. It's doing the work. It can be a spiritual blockage, protection of heart. But I think this, if anything, you are moving through that very quickly. And I don't feel these cards here are remaining that way. The clear quartz, the guy, you know, the crown chakra. I think once you can purge this and you see everything and can sum it up, you will be bringing something to a head. You will have that rebirth inside your life and inside your connection. And there is, you know, this psychic element of things that is coming through, and you're needing to move back to trusting your intuitive energies as to what the nagging energies are. So this can be writing it down, and if you don't want anyone to see it, it can be putting it in an email, you know, so you can refer back to it and you can look at it, so it's not hurting anyone in your view. You know, you can read through it and say, okay, what are these things that are really bugging me? Some of you, I am seeing a letter coming through, and this one's been awfully long. Okay, I will leave it at this. Yours has been a very unique read, and I will move into the extension read on the other side, so if you wish to join us, stick around. I've got these last messages. Love and light. See you during the week. Should you need a booking, you can go to the link below. Also, do bear in mind, I do live twin flame reads where you can join me to get that soul healing, as well as you do get the week by week romance and more. So I love you lots, guys. Please join us later. If you do want to watch the extension, as I mentioned, you can go to the link on the main page and it will take you directly to it. I will try and remember to place it in the video. Otherwise, I'll see you next week.